Okay, we're going to get at the scraping of this coyote. This is my fleshing beam. It's a piece of 4-inch ABS. We've got the top of it cut off like so. And that holds the nose really well when you're fleshing something. It is 6 feet long. You just take your pelt. I'm going to use this size here is for fox, otters, and coyotes. You see here, you slide it on there like so, pull it down tight. Like so. You saw it on the otter, if you watch the otter flushing one, same deal. It just slightly, can you see that? It's just slightly different with the coyote because the long-furred animals, the fur has a tendency to bunch up under any fleshing beam and cause some bumps. So you just got to watch that. I'm just adjusting the camera to make sure you guys can see good here. Adjust that a little more here. The only high-seeded team ahead in their series. Every other high-seeded team is either tied or down in their series right now. Okay, you can see that a little bit. We continue on with the broadcast here tonight. I'm going to be putting this in several different videos, I guess, because the skinning one, or else I'll just cut part of the skinning one out. But so again, I use this dull knife. You can use a draw knife, and I've got a couple on order because when I moved out to Manitoba, I lost all my stuff somewhere. I don't have a clue where it is, but then again, I've got a million boxes in the basement that have never been unpacked, so it's probably, all that stuff's probably in there. Remember, and coyote skins are a little thinner than an otter, so you just got to be a little bit more careful with them. So, see, here's where you see the snare mark and how tight it is there. That's a place to be careful. But on the other side, you see it's all puffed up. That's the fur that's there. And you just be careful there, because when you get a crease in the skin as you're scraping, that's where you can tear it. So you don't have to put a lot of pressure on this. You see, it's just a matter of working it down. And as you, instead of going all the way down here to the bottom, just keep rolling this pipe over, and then work all the way around and just spiral it all the way down until you're, when you get to a spot where you can't reach anymore, and then you just pull the hide up and hold it with your belly and just keep scraping. And every once in a while, like you can't see, but I'm just grabbing and pulling the hide down tight so that has a tendency to take these bumps and ridges out of the hide. And no matter what you're using, if you get a little chunk of meat balled up on here, get rid of it, because it'll stop you from scraping. Yeah, and it's right, you can probably hear it. I really am Canadian. That's a hockey game on the radio and we're skinning shit. So. I know if I was down the States, it'd probably be a basketball game or a football game, but I'll leave that stuff for you guys to listen to. blizzard, pushing and shoving here, and one of the Kings players lost their stick. The Kings do
work her down.
Now it's taken back by the blizzard and pushed through center. Chris Kravchuk onto it now, going forward. But
here along the face, just,
no,
you're not going to be able to get it around the ears and stuff, but like I said, once it's finished being fleshed, and I'm just going to adjust the camera a little wee bit more. Then, and it's on the board, that can be all trimmed off quite easily.
Traffic and then backhanded in. Valentino hook as he goes into the OCN zone. Kravchuk takes it back to the blizzard here.
And this whole video deal was kind of just a last minute thing. I videotaped it, a lot of stuff this fall when I was trapping. I mean, I left the camera at home way too often, or I was out and it was dark and I couldn't film. But you know, I don't know what I had on video, maybe 15, 20 martin being caught, but I ended up with 46. And I know I didn't have all the fisher caught either, because I had 5 fisher, and I think I got maybe 3 on the camera. And I know you've seen the one cross fox in the camp, but I don't think I have it on video where I caught it, because I just didn't think about turning the camera on. And I had a second cross fox also, and I know I didn't get it. That one was an odd one. It was actually caught in a mink set with a 120 by the front paw. And so that was kind of an odd one. And then I had a couple other reds, and I know I got one of the reds on camera. I didn't get the other one, and I know I didn't get all the wolves or all the lynx either, for that matter. But and not even close to all the beaver. Anyways, like just keep. But what I'm gonna do next year is I'm gonna try and get a bunch of videos with sets being made, and get into a little more detail about that. I mean, there's lots of videos about seeing, you know, marten hanging in a trap, and a mink in a box, and pulling a beaver out of the ice or whatever. But I'm going to try and do a bunch of more instructional type set making type deals, and with you know, catches caught mixed in between there too. So. And I'm you know, going a little slower than I normally do here, so you can see. But once I get it past the front legs, I'll, you know, it's all pretty mundane and the same thing all the way down, so I'll just fast forward through that or do whatever. So on the last coyote I skinned, all across his back there was a whole bunch of shotgun pellets just embedded in the skin, big buckshot pellets. So somebody had taken a poke at him, but probably from quite a ways away or something. But if it was buckshot, it couldn't have been a long ways away, because it would have scattered too much. But they never made it all the way through his skin. And I mean, that fur, thick fur on a coyote will slow those pellets down pretty fast. Just like on a goose, you get a little bit out of range. Again. Okay, you want to watch around the legs, not to tear.
Because just the vantage point here in the press box at the GLMC, it was along the near board, and you have to really look over the press box to see what's
push
going
it down.
On with the near boards. But the Kings will get a power play here.
Lift up the fur there and work it down.
With an opportunity here to kind of put this game away. They go to work. Red Bull, Ray Cuthbert at the point with Tanner Butler, who hooks it around, and Justin Valentino here. Valentino and giving it to our boards at 3:40 by this line. It's been so good throughout the regular season, and it hasn't always been this line throughout the regular season.
Okay, I've got it.
A good job at it, especially for
flush down to close to the end. And the one thing you want to do, especially on a real fat animal like this, is as you get close, all that fat that's rolling in front of it, just get it off, cut it off, throw it down on a piece of paper or whatever to put into your fire. Or you can keep it and let it harden up and use it for fire starter next time, because it makes a good fire starter. And plus, then you've got less that's going to grease up all your fur. So now, just work it down. See, like this big lump of fat here.
Hudson Morrison centers for Garriock. It went right to McCombie though. He put it on goal for the skate though and went wide. Now Morrison and Cardinal.
Straight her down. And remember, don't push too hard along the edge. You don't want to tear it. At this point, once you get to the edge there, you're going to be pushing, and then you'll probably end up doing a kind of a pushing, slicing motion. And that'll peel that stuff off. They're usually pretty good.
Slipping a check after stealing the puck, and he skates into the offensive zone for the Kings. The puck poked up
the other side here.
And the Blizzard will break that there. Zach Fontaine at center. Slap shot in, gloved nicely by Stiliadis. Laid it for Hope. Hope gave it away though. But Chandler Irvin, his partner on defense, jamming Bryce McKinnis up against the far boards in the corner. McKinnis trying to spin away from Irvin, but Irvin just holds him on the boards. The little guy doing a good job here on D for Goffin. And now he chopped the puck up. Cuthbert thought about coming down for it, but Irvin figured out the rest of the way too, and he chopped it up to Cuthbert, who now carries
the tail the rest of the way up.
He does a good job beating the puck. Gets to Cuthbert, but Cuthbert had poked off his stick.
You want to be careful, because the fur on the tails are often matted together, and if you try and force it through really bad, what you end up doing is putting so much pressure trying to get through that fur that you'll end up ripping the back end of the tail off. So you don't want to do that. You just slide it up the tail, a little bit at a time, and as you pull your knife out, you'll kind of separate the fur too, the hairs.
Push it back down to the lawn's nest, but it was cut off by the Blizzard. Here's Lamont. The through 2-on-1. Lamont. First shot off the stick.
Make sure you go right to the end. And that's just so it has a good chance to dry. If you don't slice it all the way to the end, I mean, it may dry without a problem, but there's always a chance that that's going to sit in there and rot, and then the hair will all fall out of the tail on the end where it's rotten. So. They do not like that. So.
It turns into shenanigans when the Blizzard are down by this much, and Lamont goes to the box, and Goffin can pad their lead a little more if they like. Roughing is the penalty. And the Kings to their 6th power play tonight, so in this series, by my math, the Kings had 8 power plays in the first game, but the NHL website says 10. But really, they've had 14 power plays. This one is the 14th for the Kings in this series. And right now they are